This is a pretty good morning, and I hope you're excited about it. I certainly am excited about it. This will be an outstanding day for the city of Houston and the Houston Community College, HCC. Um, and I'm excited about the MOU we are signing today. It is a powerful example of a partnership that will move Houston forward together. And I want to underscore that because Houston can't move forward with all of its component parts moving forward at the same time. And the city itself, in terms of municipality, certainly is not in a position to do it itself. Today's symposium, Embracing Resiliency on the 5th anniversary of Hurricane Harvey, falls on the week that we are reflecting on a storm that dumped literally 52 inches of rain on this city. More than 150,000 homes were impacted. A lot of people were displaced, and the George R. Brown hosted, I would say, 10,000 of our neighbors, along with 700 of our pets right there. The MOU we will be signing would not be possible without the leadership of Houston Community College, and I really, Chancellor, want to underscore this partnership with HCC. And I want to thank, and I know the Chancellor will also thank them, but as the Mayor of the City of Houston, I want to thank the Board of Trustees, all of them, but certainly the Vice Chair, Monica Richard, of course, the Chancellor. This would not be happening without his leadership, guidance, and support. The Vice Chancellor and President, Dr. Madeline Barillo Hopkins, the Vice Chancellor and Chief of Staff, Dr. Kurt Irwin, and then Dr. Michael Edwards, the President of the Northeast College, home campus for the new training facility, and leading the formation of the Resilience Center of Excellence across HCC's other campuses and facilities. And I want to commend and congratulate HCC's leadership for its commitment to act upon the vision of a more resilient and prepared Houston region. 5 years back, as we faced the wrath of Hurricane Harvey, it was a moment of reckoning for our city. It spurred us to think more cohesively about response and recovery. Quite frankly, over the last 7 years, we've faced 7 federally declared disasters in the last 7 years. I don't think any other mayor has faced that many in such a short time. And so our community has been in a constant state of need and recovery. And for people who live in marginal communities, need and recovery, because the shocks and stresses just kept coming. So it caused us to think differently, and most importantly, it urged us to think about building forward from recovery, from response towards resilience. And from that resolve, in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey, the Resilient Houston Plan was born, a journey that I am proud to say that we are continuing to make great strides today in implementing programs and forging new pathways and in bringing more partners to the table. So today, on the 5th anniversary of Hurricane Harvey, I am pleased to announce the City of Houston's partnership with Houston Community College new Resilience Center of Excellence in Operations Training Facility, and all the many ways we will collectively pave the path for a stronger workforce and community and a more resilient future. Quite frankly, if I don't say anything else, I think you can applaud on that, okay? And through this partnership, Houston Community College is making a commitment on the explicit goals stated in the city's Resilient Houston Plan to train 500,000 of our citizens and employees to be better prepared, more informed, and certified in specific areas of resilience and sustainability. HCC's leadership and staff have been working with the City of Houston and also with our community, philanthropic, and volunteer organizations to deliver a curriculum covering a breadth of opportunities for upskilling current employees and creating a pathway for future employment that is inclusive, diverse, and welcoming. It demonstrates collaboration as we train our current workforce to be climate ready, to meet the energy transition, to adopt new design and construction standards, and to weatherize and harden our infrastructure. And as we think of Houston as the energy transition capital of the world, and we think about the Energy 2.0 companies, and Greentown Labs Houston is leading in that effort, Houston Community College will prepare our growing workforce in solar, electric vehicles and charging infrastructure, microgrids, and energy retrofits for buildings and green infrastructure. Efforts that not only speak to social and economic resilience, but are also critical in our regional ambition to be net zero by 2050. All these require a workforce that is best in class for the installation, operation, and maintenance of new innovations, technologies, products, and data science tools. It is as if Houston Community College had already, let me put it this way. It's as if Houston Community College already knew that Congress and the President was going to pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill and was going to pass the Inflation Reduction Act, because the timing could not be more perfect. Because when you're thinking about a $370 billion investment on climate initiatives to mitigate climate change and future flooding, for Houston Community College to be thinking of a resilient center and training a workforce, it almost puts us right there ahead of the game and almost ahead of other cities in being able to work collaboratively with the city and our other partners to draw down these federal dollars for projects and businesses that will start. The timing could not be more perfect. So, Chancellor, I want to thank you all in advance for what you all have done. As part of this partnership, the city will also look across all departments, agencies, divisions, and programs for training opportunities with HCC that will help prepare our own employees, infrastructure, facilities, fleet, and operations. And with the relaunch of Evolve Houston just last week, where the focus is on electric charging stations and creating that infrastructure, all of these things are happening in the city of Houston at the right time when there are resources on the federal level that collectively we can pull down. So in essence, what does this mean? It means we are preparing ourselves through this partnership and the signing of this MOU for innovations, for infrastructure projects, for small and medium-sized businesses that either already exist or will come into existence, businesses that will expand, jobs and workforce opportunities, and all of this leads to a much more resilient community. And for that, we should all be very proud. I see many familiar faces and friends in the audience today, those that we have relied upon during tough times of recovery and rebuild. And I want to praise the great work of our two friends from Houston, now leading critical programs in Washington, D.C. Francisco Sanchez is one. Francisco, it's good to see you here in Houston. You know, Francisco was over at the county leading the way, and now he's with the Small Business Administration as one of their top execs on the federal level, and it's just good to see you, appreciate you. And then Brenda Reyes of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Where's Brenda? Brenda's right there. And we can't tell you how much HUD means to the city of Houston. So Brenda, let me just put forth a whole lot of love your way. You know, but you're familiar with the city. You know the city. Now you're at HUD. So let me just, you know, I prayed for you all last night. I prayed for you all this morning. You know, we just love us some HUD, you know. So Jeff, make sure you go and get some donuts or something and and give them to Brenda. But the point is, and I'm glad that they are here, because it is important for them to know and others to know that Houston is ready. And it's not just an individual component, but collaboratively, we're working together. And you won't find a better community college to work for, to collaborate with than Houston Community College, and then Amegy Bank and our financial institutions, and so many others. So lastly, as I wrap up, I also want to welcome, of course, the symposium speakers that will spark not just new ideas, but partnerships that we will benefit from immensely. David Robinson, I certainly want to acknowledge you and for your efforts in the transportation sector, especially when we're talking about technology and innovations. And let me now turn to Chancellor Cesar Maldonado to share his remarks before we sign this important strategic agreement. As he comes up, I want to once again acknowledge his entire team of vice chancellors, presidents, faculty, and senior managers that have worked the past 3 years in shaping what will be a national example, worthy of investment by federal and state government, by corporate and foundation resources. Quite frankly, what we are doing today is a big deal. It may not seem much to some, but let me tell you, it is a big deal. Anytime, any organization when you're looking at training 500,000 of people in our community and providing that innovation and support, it is a big deal, and it doesn't happen without leadership. So I believe that on this 5th anniversary of Hurricane Harvey, Houston's Community College is and will be a driving force for resilience for this and future generations. And for that, on behalf of the entire city, I want to say thank you to HCC.